Rails work, charger works, FM radio thingy-majigger, Bluetooth works. We're in business now. This is not calibrated though. Nice and cleaned up, nice and waxed. She's looking pretty now. Now if I could just get the combine to look like that again. But we're gonna put this thing in the shed. It's pretty much completely ready to go. Got it cleaned up like I wanted to. Got the scale working. Got a Bluetooth deal so I can listen to anything on the radio now. Phone charger, you name it. It's ready to roll. There's just something pretty satisfying about seeing a nice shiny red hood like that. I love the look of clean equipment, but it probably won't stay like that for more than a day. But it looks good right now. Nice clean cab. I love it. It's getting close. Not close enough, but it's getting close. Got the semi back yesterday. Had a new fan clutch and fan put in it. So it's been inspected, it's ready to go. I'm gonna hook it back onto the trailer, pull the combine out, sweep the cab out a little bit, and got some goodies in the pickup for it. Thanks to a good neighbor. And get this thing out, get the bean head out, and I don't know if we'll be able to see it or not, but that field way up there by the water tower is almost completely brown. And I'm thinking maybe Friday, maybe Monday, but in less than 5 days, we'll be running. We are latched, hooked the air up, we'll be ready to go. Jack's up, we're hooked. So this thing's ready to go. Other than the fact that pretty much out of fuel. It's got a quarter tank left. And a quarter tank will get us by for a little bit just because we're down here around the farm. But the tank that's standing right there has road diesel in it, and the co-op where we get our fuel from is bringing us a 500-gallon tank with a pump on it instead of that gravity fed. Hold 200 gallons more, and it's way faster because it takes about 15-20 minutes to fill this truck up with that little gravity tank. It's slower than smoke, so gotta get a bigger tank. That'll be nice. So kudos to them. So shout out to the neighbor who brought me not one but 3 globes for the combine. He told me just to play around with them, see if they work, but they had several sitting in their shop, so I'm gonna see if any of them work, and hopefully they do. But yeah, shout out to him. That was a huge help. Combine battery is, however, dead, so I'm gonna throw it on the charger and pull the bean head out of here to make some room. And that thing's gonna be going to the field. There's no chance of rain, so I'm just gonna pull it up by the shop because I think that, not that tire, but the other front tire looks like it's a little bit flat, so yeah, it definitely is. Throw some air in that, pull this up to the shop. Charging. So I'm gonna pull this out. I think I'm gonna go grab some lunch because I'm sick of leftovers. And run to town, grab a couple things, and yeah, go from there. Hauling. A little bit of a load for a half-ton pickup, but not too bad. Draper'd be a lot heavier, but I'd be all right with that. I would really like to get a draper down the road, but probably not gonna happen this year. So while the combine's on the charger, I'm gonna run to town, go get something to eat, and stop by a dealership and pick up a cylinder for the door. It's only like as big around as a pencil, a little longer than a pen. But every time I open the door, it slams against the ladder, and I don't want to shatter it, so I'm gonna pick one of those up. Man, they're getting close. Very, 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 very close. This field here will probably be the second field that goes. And those right there are still probably 2 weeks out.
This is Hoosier Ag.
So I have the feeling that what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go cut that 120 acres, and I'll probably be sitting for another week or so before I have any other beans that are ready, which that's fine. The beans that I'm gonna go cut actually are not the March beans. The March beans were a 4.2 maturity. The beans I'm getting ready to cut are a 3.6. Really, the March beans don't look like they're any further ahead than the other 4.2s that I've planted. Yeah, they were planted earlier, but they just sat in the ground forever and didn't really grow because it was so cold. Now, that's not to say that I had a bad standoff of them, but really, I just don't feel like they're that much further ahead of any of the beans that were planted later on. I think they've got some soybeans in their water hemp field. Some of you will know what I'm talking about, but you can smell these things drying. They're not terrible looking beans, a little bit short, but got quite a few pods on them. But this just crumbled right open. See if they bite hard. Yeah, that one cracked. So that one was dry. The problem is, you got parts in the field that are still kind of green like this. All in all, I would say 80% of this field I could combine today, but I'm kind of worried about some of these green spots out here. Granted, see, that one was mushy. So these beans are still wet here, but I think if I give them about 4 more days, I'll be out here combining. Change of plans. I got walking some of these beans, and they're awfully dry, so I'm gonna test some. If they're under 15, I might come up here and cut the end rows and cut the rest of them tomorrow. I doubt they are though, but we're about to find out. I pulled 3 that the stems are still green on, which is why I kind of thought they were a little bit wet, but really these beans that are in them are not swollen, and they're cracking. They're not biting chewy. They crack when you bite them. So I'm gonna test these. So I took my hand and just slid it along the plant like that. Got my pile of pods, and as you can see, just doing this, the beans are falling right out. They're shelling out nice and easy, so they're definitely pretty dry to be able to do that. So they may be drier than what I think they are. Kind of crumble them up like this. This is basically what happens inside of the rotor of the combine, is it mangles and meshes everything together, beats the beans out of the pods, and then the pods are lighter than the beans in theory. So the beans are small enough to go through the screens, and the pods are lighter, so the fan blows them out the back. Some of these beans look a little bit swollen yet, but all in all, these look a lot drier than I gave them credit for. May have the combine in the field yet today. All right, so I'm gonna go grab the tester, stick a handful of these in and see what they test. All right, so got a tester full of beans. Hopefully the combine cleans them better than I do. So here's the moment of truth, whether or not we're gonna run today or not. Gotta turn it to 5 because it's set for corn. So you guys see it here first. First time I've tested beans all year. 16.3, so probably not gonna run today, but in a couple days, they'll definitely be dry enough to go. Okay, so I didn't record it, but I went up there and I tested some more beans, and they tested 15.2 and 15.5. Now that was in the middle of the field. The initial test that I took was in the end rows where they're a little bit wet, but they're gonna go on the bottom of a small grain bin with a really big fan. It'll probably be less than 1,000 bushel. Hopefully it's more than that, but probably be about 1,000 bushel. Cut the end rows off. They'll be on the bottom of the bin, so they'll dry quick because it's gonna get a lot of airflow through there. And then Friday, because today's Wednesday, Friday I should be able to cut the rest of them, and they should be dry enough to run. So that's the game plan. So today I am going to get the auger set on the bin, make sure the fan and everything's running right, and yeah, we'll be rolling tomorrow. All right, let's see if she's charged up enough to run this time. I have got to start remembering to shut that shut-off off. I'm not used to having to do that. Come on. All right. Brought to... All right, dump the corn head off. Won't be needing that for probably 2 or 3 weeks. So we're ready for the bean head. Also, some of you guys were asking about this rig that I've got here to hold that tool up in the combine cab. That's called the gun grabber. 70 bucks off Amazon. So far it works pretty good. So I'm gonna set the easy guide up real quick. 30-foot head. Do a 1-foot overlap. We do not want 200 inches. We are actually going to be negative because it's going on a combine. So we want to be about 200 inches forward. No offset. AB line. Yes. So that's set for 30-foot wide now. One thing I do want to do is change the sensitivity of this. All right. The lids are open. Doors put in the bin. Fan works. We're ready to set an auger. Rolling through the middle of town. Went to the tire shop. Got a tube put in that tire, so it'll hold air now. So we're taking it home and we're going to the field. All right, the first unit is in the field. We're gonna give her. They'll blend. Don't worry about those green beans on the outside row. They'll blend. Got a big fan. I'm chomping at the bit to try them. If they're over 16, I'll quit. If they're under 16, we're cutting the whole dang field. But I got a weigh wagon coming tomorrow. That way we can calibrate the combine and also make sure that this is completely calibrated. There is some green spots out here yet, so I'm not gonna get too carried away. Definitely some green, but it's just down here on the low side in the end rows. The rest of that up there is a heck of a lot drier than this. So once I get rid of these, I'm sure they'll clean up. And like I said, it's gonna be the end rows. That's the first thing I'm gonna cut. They're gonna be on the very bottom of the bin, right where the fan's gonna get them. Put 1,000 bushel in there, run the fan a day and a half. They'll be 13% by then, so not getting in any rush, just gonna test things out. In fact, I'll probably cut around these right here and cut those last when I finish it, but it just depends what they're testing. Next rig going to the field. It's about to get real. I'm just giddy as all get out to try out these new toys. All right, I'm gonna grab something to drink, grab a snack, and get rolling. I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited, but I'm nervous. Never set this combine, never had this combine in the field. I got a lot of money in this combine, and I really hope it works. Seems to be in great shape, but it's always good to never get in a hurry on your first day, which is why I'm going when I'm going. So let's go. Harvest 2020. Let's get started. All right, here we go. To the field. To the field we go. And we are definitely not in high range. Interesting. That's more like it. I'll take 16 mile an hour over 10. But we're headed to the field. I got help on the way. He just got off work. So, yeah. We're gonna see what she's got tonight. So my buddy's gonna bring the semi with the cart and the head cart are already down here. So we're gonna give her a go. Unfortunately, there's not really a good spot to hook onto the head here. There's a ditch in there, otherwise I would have put the head cart over there. So I'm gonna have to run some beans over to get hooked on. Hopefully I can pick them all up. That's a problem I've never had in the past, because I've always, in the past, just left the head on the combine. But we're gonna get hooked on here in the greenest spot of the field, right here. I will probably cut around most of this, but out there is plenty dry. All right, so we got her off the head cart. Get hooked up real quick, and I think it'll be go time. I've pretty much got the combine set for beans already. I know I'm probably gonna make a lot of adjustments, but so far it's set by what the book says. Bad beans. $13.6. Gonna torment people and take videos. Still some green ones in there, but they cleaned up. So we cut about 350 bushel of beans. Buddy's getting ready to pull the semi under the auger here so we can get that dumped. They're anywhere, the wettest I got into was 18%, the driest was 13%. The end rows are still really wet. I'm running into some issues with the head height sensors, so I want to get that sorted out tomorrow, and then call the dealer. They're gonna sort that out. I need a piece of poly for the head that's missing, and I also want to get the yield monitor calibrated, so I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Hopefully not run, you know, if I get 20 acres tomorrow and get everything lined out, I'll be happy. I am happy with how the combine's set. The beans look a little dirty, but they're mostly just green pods, so shouldn't be hard to get cleaned out. So get it set tomorrow, which is Friday, and then Saturday probably really try and cut some beans. Give them 2 days, they ought to be dried down too. 'Tis the season. That's how much beans I cut, so not a whole lot. Just enough to try it out tonight, but the combine didn't break and it did cut them, so that's a plus. And we're dumping. Not too terribly dirty. They've got some green pods in them, but it was off the end rows where it's wet, so should clean up when I get into drier beans. Like I said, I'm still not in any big hurry. They're plenty wet still.